Today we're going to be talking about 3 keys to a thriving kingdom faith. Hey, my name is Brandon. I am a husband, father of 4, a serial entrepreneur, and a certified coach. And our heart at Kingdom Success is to help you live more intentional each and every day and find the success that God has for you in your faith, family, fitness, and finance in every area of life. And today we're talking about how to live a successful kingdom faith. Right? And I love this word. It just happens to be my wife's name as well, so it's extra special to me. But this word also has several different meanings, so we just want to clarify what we're talking about today as we jump in. And one of the terms that this word means is the faith where you're believing for miracles, right? You're believing for the miraculous. You've probably seen books on the shelf at the store about faith to see the sick healed, maybe. And so there's that type of faith of believing for the miraculous. But then there's this other side of faith, which is the general term faith, so one's faith. And that is just kind of the simple term of our daily walk with God, our faith. And that's the faith that we're going to be talking about today. And of course, this term, talking about our walk with God, is probably not as exciting as seeing the sick healed, the dead raised, or seeing miracles happen. But it's so important that we talk about how to live a thriving faith, is because the enemy, Satan himself, I believe, is probably more interested in keeping you stuck in this area than he is worried about you maybe seeing some miracles in your life, right? Because this is where the rubber meets the road. This is our day-to-day. And in truth and reality, many times this part, our daily walk, is what is actually bringing change and transformation to the world around us. Yes, God uses miracles to reveal His power and glory, but He wants, I think, more so to use you each and every day as you're walking out your faith to reveal God's love and God's kingdom to the world around you as you walk through it. But what else is a challenge sometimes when it comes to living out a thriving faith? I think we as humans, we tend towards this word, religion, right? Now, this word alone is not bad. James talks about good religion, caring for widows and orphans. So there's a good side of religion, but why would religion challenge us and be an obstacle to living a thriving faith? Because religion, in the negative sense, is based on works, right? So religion, which we tend to lean towards as humans, maybe because we were created for work. We were created to be successful in work, but Satan wants to twist that. And what happens is we end up trying to work for our religion, for our faith, and for our citizenship in relationship with the King. The reason Satan wants to keep us in that cycle of religion and works and keep us thriving faith is because he knows that God's kingdom is not based on religion and works, but God's kingdom is based on relationship, right? Relationship. The faith that God has for us and that God's kingdom is established on is a kingdom of relationship. And when you step into that right relationship with the King, with Jesus himself, and you understand your relationship with the kingdom, what's going to happen is that you are going to understand that you have this thing called authority. You have an authority because of your relationship with the King and the kingdom. And Satan wants to keep you from that. He wants to keep you from understanding that authority, because when you understand that authority, you begin to exercise that authority to overpower his kingdom. And so those are some of the challenges that we have when it comes to living out a thriving faith. So what are some keys to living out a thriving faith? Number one is this. Number one is connected to what we just talked about, relationship, which has to do with our identity. It's our identity. Again, Satan wants to keep you from understanding your identity so that he can keep you in religion, so that he can keep you in that cycle of works that will never be enough. And when he can keep you from understanding who you are. So that's God's first desire. For you to step into a thriving faith, you have to understand your identity. And you have so many things coming at you each and every day, your own thoughts, the enemy, and even the world that wants to lie to you and keep you from understanding your identity as a kingdom citizen, so you don't walk out a thriving kingdom faith. And how do we get to this place of really understanding our identity? Well, we have to get in God's Word, right? We have to meditate on God's Word, what God says about us. We have to make sure that we're taking the time to renew our minds, to understand who we are, so that we can walk out the faith that's thriving, that God desires for you. So number one is identity. So the second key to walking out a thriving kingdom faith is this. Number two, the second key is intimacy. Remember, God's kingdom is a relational kingdom. It's not about works. You can't work your way into relationship or work your way into intimacy. Intimacy is about heart-to-heart connection. It's when we take the time to share our heart with God through prayer and spend time with Him in worship. And we also take time to listen back to God's heart. That's intimacy. That's the connection that God desires you to have between you and the King. So the third key to walking out a thriving kingdom faith is this. Number three is community. Right? Community. You know, by definition, a kingdom is a community, right? A kingdom is the king's domain. You have the king and the area, the region, any place that the king has authority over. But then in the kingdom, you have a community. So guess what? When you step into a relationship with Jesus, when you step into the kingdom, you are also becoming a part of a community. And the only way for you to really thrive in your faith and be successful in your daily faith is to be connected in community. God did not create you to do this alone, to walk alone. God created a community for you to be connected to so that you could have others. It's God's provision for you to be encouraged, to be supported, to help grow you and to experience the full faith that God has for you, to be successful and thrive in your faith. So number three is community. So again, just to recap, what are the three keys to walking out a thriving faith? Is number one, identity. Number two is intimacy. And number three is community. Right? Identity, intimacy, and community. These three keys are so critical when it comes to living out a thriving kingdom faith.